Last week, I introduced the theme for this Lent given to us by Pope Francis. The Word is a gift, and other persons are a gift. The parable at the center of the Pope's theme features three characters: a rich man, a poor man named Lazarus, and Father Abraham, who symbolizes God. Over the next 3 weeks, we'll look at each of these figures, beginning today with Lazarus. It's interesting that the rich man has no name, while the poor man does. The name Lazarus means God helps, and yet at the beginning of the parable, he's pretty helpless, covered with sores and lying on the ground as dogs lick his wounds. But when Lazarus dies, he's carried away by angels to the bosom of Abraham, where he is comforted and welcomed into the heavenly banquet. There he is served a feast of juicy, rich food and pure, choice wines, to borrow from the words of the prophet Isaiah. The parable reminds me of two experiences I had as a young little sister living in Paris. The first occurred when I was assigned to take care of an elderly Jesuit priest who had just come to our home as a resident. He was from an aristocratic family and was well educated, so he was a bit out of his element among our residents. Yet after Mass on his first day, he exclaimed to me, "Today I've had a foretaste of the heavenly banquet, where the blind and the lame have the places of honor." Several weeks later, I accompanied a group of our elderly residents from Paris on vacation to Lourdes, where I was deeply moved to witness the simple and pure faith of countless sick and disabled persons who came there hoping beyond hope for a cure. Many of them were handicapped and some were quite deformed, but under Mary's mantle, and by extension, in the arms of the Church, each person had a name and an identity, and each one was showered with delicate attentions. These people were like Lazarus, who, despite the way he was treated by the rich man, was a person with a name, loved by God, a priceless gift, a treasure. The poor at our door are a summons to conversion. The parable of Lazarus invites us, our Holy Father says, to open the door of our heart to others. Lent is a favorable season for opening the doors of our hearts to all those in need and recognizing in them the face of Christ. This is just what our foundress, St. John Jugan, did when she opened her home and her heart to an elderly, paralyzed, and blind woman in need. She treated each elderly person as an individual with a unique story and legitimate needs and aspirations. This week, let's make Pope Francis's prayer our own. Let us ask the Lord for the grace to always see the Lazarus who knocks at our heart, and for the grace to go outside of ourselves with generosity, with an attitude of mercy, so that God's mercy can enter our heart.